Sugar pie, honey bun. You don't know the words? You don't know the fucking words? That's my intro and you don't know how to do the fucking words?
I ain't singing.
You're a fucking idiot, dude.
I ain't singing.
Fuck this shit. Sports Dummies Podcast. Introducing your beloved host, Fanatic, along with my fellow sidekick. State your name, please.
No, co-host.
State your name. No, you don't get the co-host. You don't know how to do intros or outros. You do the sidekick. What are you talking about?
I see you.
Yeah, you the sidekick. What's up? Introduce yourself.
The sidekick.
The sidekick. Da-da-da-da. One more time. The sidekick.
Vincenzo.
Let me do my thing, and then after I'm done, you can say it. The sidekick. Da-da-da-da.
Vincenzo.
Oh, you Italian, boy.
Italian.
I could say some mean words about Italians, but I ain't gonna say them.
Because
I'm a nice person.
Do this?
I'm a nice person, Mr. You're a Trump lover, too. We can let that be known. We can let that be known.
Let's get there.
We can let that be known.
Let's get there.
But first, we need to talk about the Stanley Cup champions, the Washington Capitals. Does that sound right to you?
That's crazy.
44 years? 44 years? It took them? They are no longer a part of the big droughts in hockey. It is now the Toronto Maple Leafs of 51 years. I know Vancouver's up there, the Buffalo Sabres, and there's one more team that is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. So yeah, man. Ovi finally did it. Can you believe it? Do you still believe it?
It's crazy, man, because you know what? Like, he's been a great player for so long.
He's one of the best, dude. He's one of the best ever. Don't play with the pool balls. Please. I know you saw me going to grab for them, bro. I know you you like playing with two balls right there. You play with two, man. You play with two.
So my thing is, he's been a great player his whole career, but he always had that aura,
Did he have that Russell Westbrook thing where he was so good, but could you really win with him?
Exactly.
I mean, hockey's a totally different sport.
But it was he's so good, but is he ever gonna win? It's almost like Marino. You know what I mean? Great players that couldn't win at all.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I think Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl as rookie year, didn't he?
Yeah,
and he never went back. Really early, never went back. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And Ovechkin, I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, I knew this year was different because I think they were the Eagles, kind of in a sense, where they were.
Huh? Marino won one though, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He never won.
No,
Marino never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But as I was saying before I was really cut off, I mean, I knew this year was kind of a little different. You didn't. This is the thing. The past 8 or 9 years, on and off, the Caps have been expected to be a contender. I think this year it was all right, they're a good team, but going to the playoffs, I don't think really did anyone have Washington winning. It was a lot a lot of people said Pittsburgh going to three-peat. Tampa Bay had a really good team. On the west side, on the west it was who was it? It was I don't even think people really there was people expected Vegas to get there, but it was who else was it?
Who'd they beat?
Winnipeg. Winnipeg was a big Nashville. It was a big. I told you I predicted a rematch just with the opposite. I had Nashville winning it all. But this was a year where the reason why I compare them to the Eagles is because the Eagles, even though they had a great regular season, they went in the playoffs. They didn't have a Wentz. They were the underdogs. Not that Washington was the underdogs, but people weren't really expecting them this year. They didn't win the President's Trophy this year. They didn't have the best record in the NHL. So I mean, the expectations weren't there like it was in years past. So maybe the weight wasn't on there like that, but it was though because I mean against Columbus they lost the first 2 games and they ended up coming back and when they won 4 straight. Who did they beat in the second round? I know the third round they beat Tampa Bay. Second round, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Penguins.
Pittsburgh.
Penguins.
I mean, as soon as I knew that was the matchup, I said Pittsburgh gonna win easy. I said Pittsburgh in 6 or 7.
Me and you both said.
I know. I didn't think Washington was gonna get swept.
Me and you both believed that. Well, I believe Pittsburgh was gonna three-peat. You predicted they were gonna lose in the finals.
But I'm going through this Pittsburgh was supposed to three-peat, and I said, man, Pittsburgh was going to beat Washington. I give Ovi no chance. And you know what? I think that's the difference this year, man. I don't think people gave Ovechkin a chance this year. In years past, it was Ovechkin's expected to win. Even though he never won, he had great teams, right? the question was always the goaltender, really, and the defense wasn't.
Crazy because it's a good goalie. I mean,
Braden Holtby's a good goalie.
Yeah.
He just in years past he can get over that hump in the playoffs. Yeah. So he was a good goalie, but
and that's
you can never.
I don't care what anybody says. You can be a good, really. I wouldn't say even really good. You can be really good. You don't have to be a great team, but if you have that goalie that can
Jonathan
stand
Quick, bro,
on their head. I don't care what anybody says. It's like in the NFL. Teams say quarterback. I honestly believe that it's the defensive line is what wins you Super Bowls.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too deep into that.
Yeah, different sport.
But at the end of the day, like they say defensive line wins you Super Bowls. I think the goalies will win you a Stanley Cup. Like you can have a subpar, like a good, good team to a good team.
All right, 2010 Blackhawks beat the Flyers. Antiniemi, he wasn't that great of a goalie, but they won. Now the Blackhawks,
great team.
All right, but you just told me that you have to have a great goalie to win.
But who was a better team as overall? Look at the teams: the Flyers or the Blackhawks.
I say I tell you, I think if the Flyers had a really good goalie, they would have won.
See, there's the issue.
I know, but they had a great team too, though. They had a great team too, though.
Take goalies out of the question.
Okay,
compare just forwards, and defensemen, skaters. Whose skaters were better? Chicago's or
Chicago. Easily.
There's your comparison, and they both just had average goalies. So you take both the average goalies, and the better offense is going to win.
But the Flyers had a great offense. The Flyers had a good team, though, too. They had a really good team. They weren't that far from Chicago.
Let's be honest, the Flyers shouldn't have made it that far. If Michael Leighton, who the hell ever would have thought stood on his head.
Oh, you mean the Flyers shouldn't have even been in that position?
No, they really shouldn't have got that far.
Well, I don't know if you remember that year. The Flyers...
They made it...
No, the Flyers, bro, going into that year, people were picking them to win the Cup.
Was that the year? No, wasn't that the year
they barely made it in? They had Pronger. That was the year they signed Pronger.
But that was the year they barely made it in,
Yeah,
right?
but they shouldn't have barely made it in. They went through a slump for a while, and
crazy.
They were like a 7 seed.
Maybe it might have been.
That's why I wasn't surprised.
Two or 3 years after that, it might have been.
Yeah.
The players that were on that Flyers team that are just like non-existent now. Like they had such a crazy, young, unreal, good team.
The thing is, Ville Leno, he got his money in Buffalo a couple years after, and he wasn't the same player. He was expected to be a star. He wasn't that good. Richards and Carter thrived in LA because of the role they played, but they weren't like Jeff Carter. I ain't gonna lie, Jeff Carter's a good player, but Jeff Carter isn't a superstar. Jeff Carter's a star. He's a good player. He has an amazing wrist shot, one of the hardest wrist shots I've ever seen. But, the LA had Quick, they had Anze Kopitar, they had Drew Doughty, they had, I forget who else was on. They had Dustin Brown, they had Justin Williams. Justin Williams was one of the greatest playoff scorers ever. Former Flyer as well. Justin Williams, all right, no, let me get that straight. I said that wrong. Justin Williams was one of the best clutch performers in the playoffs. Like, you can go back to, his days in, I think he was in Philadelphia, and then he went to Carolina. And then
he was one of them players that we had that not really right. Yeah, no.
Yeah, he was cool on Philadelphia, but he was part of
that team though, right? That really crazy young talented team we had.
No, I think you're talking about like 09. No, Justin Williams was in LA at that point.
Yeah,
I was
gonna say I think that was a little bit before.
Justin Williams won
right after the Blackhawks series, right? Yes.
Justin Williams, no, dude. Justin Williams before, bro. Justin Williams won a cup.
Right?
Justin Williams won a cup with Carolina when Peter Laviolette was there in 06, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Flyers had the big thing was I'm not trying to make excuses for that Flyers team because they had a good team, but like Pronger was hurt. Remember Pronger got hurt after that and then he kind of like retired?
Yeah. We
were expected to have Pronger another good 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
And hockey players, even the good hockey players when they age are still good, i.e. Jaromir Jagr.
Is he still playing?
No, he done.
What was that?
Last year was his last year. Yeah, he kind of like.
How old is he? He's got to be
upper 40s. Upper 40s.
Yeah, late 40s. Right?
Jagr to go with the flow, the age, man. Jagr one of the best ever, man.
Tip your hat to somebody who can play hockey. Yeah. Like it's not like you're playing baseball that old.
Yeah. So are we mentioning Ovechkin now with the likes of Crosby? Because he has that cup. That was always the thing. It was like Crosby here, Ovechkin's here, because Crosby has 3 cups. Ovechkin doesn't have any. And Ovechkin had, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Ovechkin had never been to an Eastern Conference Finals. before this year.
I don't think so.
It was Eastern Conference Finals and Stanley Cup, and he won the Stanley Cup. So, my whole spiel is shout out to Ovechkin because he works so hard for this. I know you could tell interviews, past couple years of losing in the playoffs, constant just losing, and the mid rounds. He really wanted to win a cup, and even interviews going into the seasons, he wanted it, and you could just tell last night. With the expression of even the last couple minutes, even before Nick Backstrom missed the empty net, you could see him. He was so excited, and he was so, and then he lifting the cup, bro. There's no bro. It gives me goosebumps when that happens, dude.
You can see. To be honest, I'm trying to think back, and even the Eagles, because there was nobody on that Eagles team like there was an Ovechkin. You know what I mean? There's nobody who's been on that Eagles team for
so long.
As much as I dislike him now because his opinion on the Carson, the greatest of all time, wins.
Wait, who said this?
McNabb. McNabb hates Wentz. That's where I'm going with this.
Well, I mean, someone's a little butthurt that he didn't win a ring.
That would have been somebody, though, seeing him lift a Lombardi in Philly, that would have been something comparable because, let's be real, as much as I dislike him now, he was a great quarterback.
McNabb?
Yeah.
McNabb was my favorite, yeah.
He went through hell in Philly.
He did. You got to give him his props.
Number 5
real quick, shout out to Don McNabb. Shout out to Don McNabb real quick.
No.
Come on, bro. That's my favorite growing up.
No.
Can I get a golf clap?
Can
they hear that? Can they hear that?
He hates Wentz.
McNabb is McNabb, bro. We know Dawkins the real deal.
Number 5 will always love you.
His number retired here, bro. His number's retired.
Dawkins is a better one. Dawkins is a better one because Dawkins loves Philly.
We don't no words for B-Dawk, bro, because B-Dawk's the GOAT.
If B-Dawk lifted Lombardi in Philly, that would have been comparable. But there's nothing I can't think recently in sports comparable to that.
Comparable
recently.
To what? The Eagles winning?
To Ovechkin lifted, the emotion you could see him lifting that cup.
I get chills, dude. I get chills,
That's what I mean.
bro.
I'm trying to think. Can you think of anybody in the last couple of years recently when
last
they won?
Couple of years?
I mean, you can go even further.
No. I mean, LeBron, when he won in Cleveland, I mean, that wasn't his first finals, but, he had that burden of, he had to win for the city. And you saw him, he cried immediately as soon as they won that game. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Listen, I guess that might be the closest and the only thing.
But, I don't know if you know, hockey is huge in Washington. I won't say it's Eagles in Philadelphia, but it's very close to that.
Eagles in Philadelphia. I don't care
but,
any sport.
I mean, I don't know if you knew that, though. Washington, they are a huge hockey town. and it got big because when Ovechkin got there. It's not they weren't a hockey town when Ovechkin got there, but when Ovechkin got there, they had the superstar, they had a top 3 player in the NHL.
They had passion now to
you know what I mean? It's like Cleveland basketball too. I mean, they got LeBron and it got pretty big there.
I was gonna say it's very
yeah. I mean, but that's what happens, dude. That's how it happens, man. I mean, the Yankees are huge in New York. They have 20 however many
all of a sudden
rings.
everybody and Embiid, really Embiid.
Because, I mean. But Philadelphia's a big sports town, so I mean you can't really compare big sports towns.
Trying to, I guess there's.
I mean, dude, there are certain towns. I mean, I'm sure Utah Jazz weren't big of a deal. Who cares about Utah until Malone and Stockton got there? You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. That's just how sports work, dude. I mean, look, Vegas Golden Knights, they're a hockey town now. Well, literally, they don't have one team, but I mean, they'll have the Raiders there. But they're a hockey town now. Even though 37% of the fans last night at the game were Washington Capitals fans. But, I mean, it's Vegas, dude. It's Vegas. And it only happens in Vegas is a girl flashing her boobs right as they're carrying the cup around. I just showed that to you.
Yeah, that's priceless.
I mean, it's so funny because you're sitting there and you're looking at Ovechkin carrying the cup, and in the background, everyone behind him is just pointing to the girl. It's the greatest thing ever, dude.
Fantastic.
The phrase, bro, men will be men. We don't give a shit.
Bro, I
love it, dude. I love it. Is there anything better than that, bro?
Absolutely.
And it's perfect because it's Vegas. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
And the whole thing about you want to see a team win at home, though, right? But is it so bad winning in Vegas?
No.
Is it so bad? You're gonna party out there.
You still gotta go for the party. Right down to the strip with the cup.
And yo. But yeah, man, shout out to Vegas. Man, Yo, real quick, can we just say congratulations to Vegas real quick?
Word.
For the freaking season, yo. Inaugural season to make it that far. That's really all we got time for today. But I really wanted to, make this podcast shout out Ovi. Real quick, fuck Golden State. LeBron, you're coming to Philly.
Word.
Yes, Rafael Nadal will be winning another French Open title in the next week. So shout out to the King of Clay. Fuck Donald Trump.
No,
Go Eagles.
no.
Repeat.
No.
Repeat.
Well, yeah, I'm for repeat, but we gotta no.
No, exactly. No.
Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is
Sports Dummies.